So Jennie, now formerly of the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City, has officially been relieved of her cast member spot on the reality show, and Bravo has made an official statement. Let's talk about it.
I don't do regrets. I'm trying to learn from my lessons, but do I get it yet? I wanna set an example, but I'm not sure I can handle all my demons. I'm thinking that I should court a vet. I fight for all respect. I'm working overtime to keep in my head. I understand I'll get the love when I'm dead, so my focus is red. Choose the black out on what's keeping me chosen. I've been the token, now the back is ahead. On my soapbox, chucking, showing out.
Greetings, constituents. Welcome to another racism-free day here in Georgia, Carolina. I am your local Congresswoman, Jordan Renee, and I'm happy to have you back for another town meeting. If you're touring our lovely community, I hope you take up some permanent real estate. All right, so Jennie has officially been fired. Bravo has officially made a statement. And I am not even going to take time to look at the reactions of the people. I'm going to come on just fresh off of reading the statement, and I'm going to react just out of sheer first impression based on what I read, right? I think that Bravo covered all the bases in this apology. I think that they hit all the necessary points. I think that they took the right course of action in firing her. I think that in the apology itself, they hit the right points of ceasing filming with her and her no longer being on the show, them acknowledging that they were wrong in not taking immediate action when they officially learned of the statements. And they also acknowledged that they are going to take steps to improve their vetting system when it comes to casting and their hiring process. Those are the three things that I think have been my main points when it comes to the cast of characters who have been in the revolving door of racism when it comes to Bravo. I think that, one, it's been your vetting system and how you go about hiring these people, and the lack of acknowledgement from a situation that has been probably, and I'm still claiming it as the worst display of racism we've ever seen on Bravo. And why was she still filming season 3 of the show? Those three things were really my main issues as far as her employment with Bravo, right? It does leave me with a couple questions. It leaves me with a couple questions that I do need answered, but I do want to get out of the way that I feel like they took the right steps and they hit the right points in their apology. However, I do want to ask a couple things because it leaves me wondering. In the statement, they said that they apologized for not taking more immediate action when they learned about the Facebook post in the first place, right? So that leads me to believe that there was not a real reason that Bravo couldn't have made a statement, and subsequently there was not a real reason why the women on the show had to hold up formulating statements. I am starting to believe that it is less about investigating the situation and that it was more about formulating some sort of unified front or trying to figure out the best approach to talking about it rather than taking the obvious steps that need to be taken and then handling all of the formalities on the back end. Do you get what I'm saying? Because we had proof of the post being hers. She admitted that. That should be grounds for immediate termination, right? The women were not held up on speaking about certain things when it comes to, like, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that this is the first time that we have seen a cast of a show be prevented from speaking about something like this happening within their cast immediately after it happens. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember anyone ever really speaking out and saying we're not allowed to talk about it right now, as far as somebody committing actions like this, where it's not a legal case or they're being sued or something like that, when there's not legal proceedings happening in the midst of what the situation is. Do you get what I'm saying? I've never seen somebody just not be able to say anything right away when it doesn't have legal action involved, right? So it makes me wonder what the process is of how they go about rectifying this situation and why it took so long for them to do what they did. Mind you, I had a conversation with Adam today on Wake Up and Adam, and we were saying how it's just interesting how they all have the black screen with the white writing, and it seems very formulated, and the post from the women all seem to be very similar in taste, with the exception of a couple. Bravo's statement is following in that same suit of having the black background with the white writing. And I was saying how it's kind of like the new iPhone notes apology, where there was a wave of when celebrities got called out for doing some shit, they would go in their iPhone, type a notes apology, screenshot it, and then post it to their Instagram. This is what that feels like, except on a more corporate level. I just hope now that we see not only action when it comes to the way that they go about casting their reality shows and the vetting system that they put the people that they hire through, but I hope that there is also a level of cultural awareness training and cultural sensitivity training and a lesson in anti-racism. Like, I hope that there is specifically anti-racism training within the company and within the cast members and within these shows. And I hope that becomes some sort of policy, some sort of thing that they have to do if they're going to be on Bravo. Do you get what I'm saying? It's kind of like, I think that excuse me, I think that anti-racism training should be a part of the overall system of media training when it comes to people being public figures and being somebody who represents companies and brands and things like that. I think that that should be a part of what public figures or people who engage in, you know, sponsorships and brands and endorsement, or who represent things, or who are on television, or this, that, and the third, you know, things of that nature. I think that they all should go through media training, but I also think that anti-racism training and cultural awareness training should also be involved in that. Because we're in America, like a country that's based on being a melting pot in the first place. So cultural awareness should almost be a second to none thought, because that is what this country is built on, right? It is amazing to me that in 2022 that we are still having conversations about the necessary need or the necessity of companies implicating cultural awareness training, racial diversity training, racial sensitivity training, anti-racism training. Like, how are these things not things already? Do you get what I'm saying? But at the same time, I also have to look at it and be like, well, I shouldn't be surprised that there aren't these systems in place already, because look at the vetting system that these multi-million-dollar companies are going through to vet these people, to put them on television. You're giving these people national platforms to influence people, and you don't vet the people who you are putting on these platforms in a way that makes sure that you are as close to clean across the cultural board when it comes to viewers and consumers as possible. I don't just mean cultural awareness when it comes to Black people. I'm talking about Hispanic people, Asian people. I'm talking about religious awareness. I'm talking about people from different countries. I'm talking about all that awareness, all the differences that can apply to someone operating in a way that is ignorant to a community of people. I think that there should be an awareness training for all of that, especially when it comes to public figures who have a direct platform to influence the opinions of hundreds of thousands to millions of people. Do you get what I'm saying? I hope that if they do consider giving certain people second chances on their platform, because there was also a conversation that was had on Up and Adam about bringing Stassi back on Vanderpump Rules, or if there was a conversation that could be had about that. And my immediate answer was no. And it wasn't specifically because of not wanting Stassi back on television. Although I do believe, or to my knowledge, I have not seen anything that Stassi has done publicly to promote her anti-racism training, right? Like, I haven't seen her journey towards anti-racism that she spoke about on Tamron Hall. Now, mind you, I follow her on Instagram for this purpose because I want to see what the people are doing. She was talking about it on Tamron Hall, which, by the way, that interview was a fiasco. But I just haven't seen it, right? And I believe that Bravo is not going to handle it correctly, because you're not going to bring her on, hold her to task, hold her accountable, and then make her journey about growing from this situation and going from somebody who is racially ignorant and racially insensitive and doing things that are blatantly racist to someone who is anti-racist and who has learned and reformed from their situation, which is why I suggested that Cameron Westcott be given a platform, because at least she has taken steps to learn and to grow. I don't know how much she has reformed as an actual individual, but she has brought cultural awareness people on her podcast to teach her about her being racially ignorant. That is a step. That is something that we can see. That is something that is tangible. And I have not seen that from Stassi nor Kristen. I've heard them talk about it. But just like y'all can post about your new book, or you can post about you selling your house, or you can post about your merch, or you can post about your products, you can also post about your growth as a person. Because wasn't that the whole purpose of you having a podcast? Was for you to talk about your journey, talk about your growth, talk about, the things that were happening in your life. Now, mind you, you don't have your podcast anymore, but you definitely still have a platform. You still have your social media accounts, and there could have been a level of focus put on a journey towards anti-racism and being held accountable for her ignorance. I think that there was a time where she should have, and mind you, maybe this is all covered in her new book. Maybe all of this is covered in her new book and we just haven't read it yet, and I haven't seen the story. So fingers crossed. Stassi, don't fuck this up. Don't drop the bag. If you're gonna write a book about coming back from being canceled, please actually talk about what the issue is and how you were racially ignorant and did things that were blatantly racist. And talk about how you came back from that type of thinking and that type of impulsive behavior. I hope that you actually go out and take the steps to rectify that thinking and unlearn that behavior. I think that is more important than just getting back on television or getting back in the public eye or getting back to work. I think that is a necessary step towards even getting back to that place. Do you get what I'm saying? I think that in order for us, the consumers of color who were fans of this show and fans of you and all of those things, I think to get us back, you have to show growth through action, because actions will always speak louder than words. You can talk about something all day, and as soon as you click the end of that Zoom call or the end of that live or the end of that record button, you can go back to doing whatever it is you want to. But if we can see actions and change behavior and growth and mentality, then you give us something to work with. And this same thing goes for Bravo. The infrastructure of your network is inherently racist. So that needs to change. Not only do the people that you hire need cultural awareness and anti-racism training, but the people who work in your network also need that, because it is also the executives that are put into place to make these decisions, who make the decisions to not look at morality and character and choose to look more at potential for drama when they're casting these shows. I have to believe that there is more than just a few reality stars out here who are good at making television, but also have a strong moral character. I have to believe that it's more than just the Monique Samuels of the world. I really do. And so the way that you all have handled African American talent in your company, the way that you have handled white people and their feelings and perspectives and handlings of Black people on your network has to change. It's not just the talent that you hire, because you got to remember, we've had several Black stars from Bravo come out and talk about racial insensitivity and talk about them feeling as if they are being treated or handled as less than. And the only conclusion that they can come to is their skin color, because it can't be reflective of their credibility, their experience, their knowledge, their talent, their equity, their staying power, their star power. It seems like that is not the issue. The issue is that they are Black people and they want to keep them in their place. And that is an opinion that I have had about Bravo for a while. I do feel like Bravo has a tendency, and Andy Cohen has a tendency, you see it at reunions, the way that Andy handles Black women at reunions versus the way that he handles women of different races who appear to be more Caucasian or appear to lean towards the lighter proximity to whiteness. Andy will question Black women about things regarding their success that he does not question when it comes to white women. Do you get what I'm saying? Prime example, when he questioned Monique's husband still bringing in a significant amount of money because he wasn't playing professional sports anymore, and Monique had to check him by saying that her husband's investment portfolio was off of the charts and he was still bringing the same amount of money, if not more. So the money that you pay me at Bravo does not make a difference in my household one way or the other. And she was treated as if that was arrogant. And it's not. But Lisa Vanderpump had said that when she runs multiple successful businesses outside of being on reality television, and I'm sure that the money that they were paying her on that show was not equitable to the money that she was out there earning with her restaurants and all of the other endeavors that she was in. Had Lisa Vanderpump had that same attitude about what Bravo was paying her, or if any of the other people who were extremely wealthy who weren't Black had that same opinion, they would be looked at as legendary. People would be living. If Lisa Vanderpump said that, they would be living. But Monique is arrogant. She's ungrateful because she said it. Why is a Black woman ungrateful, but a white woman is just a diva? She's sickening. She's everything. She's iconic. Drop down in the comments and tell me your feelings on that, because that is a feeling that I genuinely have. It's a lot. So going forward, not only do housewives have a lot of work to do, the women who want to come on these shows and the characters and the people who want to come on these Bravo shows, outside of just the housewives, all the Bravo shows, if you have a racist past, don't bother. We're gonna find out. We're gonna call you out. And if Bravo doesn't do their due diligence and vet you and just doesn't hire you and they bring you on, we're gonna get in that ass. It is what it is. I think that if you want to be on reality TV, there should be an implication for you as a person to want to do the most amount of sensitivity training that there is to make sure that you are likable to as many aspects of the audience as possible. I would think that if I was going on reality TV, I would want to be as universally likable while still being authentically and genuinely myself as possible. Just saying. So, Bravo, internally, you all have to do a lot of work as well, because there are a lot of restructuring. There's a lot of restructuring that needs to happen within the Bravo network and subsequently the Peacock network, probably. Because if Peacock is an offshoot of Bravo or an NBC Universal streaming channel, then I feel like the same processes have to go through the executives of not just Bravo, but all of the affiliates that are going along with Bravo and NBC Universal as a whole. I feel like this is not just a Bravo issue. This is an overall issue. So y'all have work to do, and we are watching. And while I can appreciate this statement and you actually addressing everything that genuinely needed to be addressed and covering all of the bases that I needed you to cover in writing, I hope that you cover all of the bases that you covered in that statement in action and in deed, because that is where the difference is going to happen. That is where the change is going to happen. That is where the redemption is going to happen. And that is where your growth is going to happen. So I hope you heed the people that have reached out to you, because the level of vitriol that has been extended in the past week is just a small show of the power that the consumers have. I'm just saying, pay attention to the people who you are marketing this content to. So, with that being said, thank you guys for visiting Georgia, Carolina. Thank you guys for coming to the town hall meeting who were already subscribers and take up real estate. If you're new and touring our community, I hope you had a good time, and I hope you come back and take up some real estate and have a more permanent stay in our gated but racist-free community. I am your local Congresswoman, Jordan Renee, and I appreciate every single one of you for watching this video and taking the time to listen to my opinions and formulate your own and drop them in my comments, because I do want to hear from all of you. If you like the video, please share, subscribe, do all of the YouTube-y think the things, and I'll holler at y'all in the next one. Peace.